Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, the name of my channel is Southern Take. If you can't tell, I'm from the South, and I give you my take on things. So I'm pretty blunt. I'm not blowing smoke up your derriere. I'll just tell you how I feel about certain stuff. And if you've been hiding under a rock, I've been, the world knows, the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial. The verdict came out today, and so Johnny Depp won on all three of the verdicts that came out from the jury. She won on the second one. And again, this is my opinion. I said this the other day. If you follow me, when I came out with the jury's question, I felt like they had probably had a hold off in the jury. There was one person that was probably not agreeing with the other jurors. And they gave that as a compromise to that juror and awarded her that second one. This, again, just my opinion, but I think that's kind of probably why that went down. So if you can't tell, this is a meme. I robbed this from Asmongold's Reddit. He actually shared it, though, clean copy, and told people, to spread it around. One of his followers made this. It's very hilarious. But I'm going to get into why I'm doing this video today. Okay, so yes, the steam's going to settle on this whole worldwide exposure of this trial of, almost feeling uncomfortable, so much about this two's marriage. That it is, we know a lot at this point, but I feel like there's another lesson to be learned here. This case was a lot about the SA and a lot about the DV. And if from this forward on, let me just say, because this platform does not like you to use this word, I'm going to use this word, injustice. Okay, so when I say domestic injustice, or I don't even know if I can use, I'm not monetized, fuck it. So I'm going to say sexual injustice. You know what I mean? I mean this, okay? So, to me, I have to use it for this one too, mental injustice. To me, the mental injustice is the part, from my personal experience, that was the hardest to get through. Yes, of course, the physical stuff is horrible. I'm not underestimating that. You might feel differently than I do, and that's fine. We're all entitled to our opinions. But for me, the mental stuff left a deeper scar. Because it plays mind games with you. You feel like you love this person, and yet they're telling you how horrible you are. And then a lot of these situations, they'll say how horrible you are, and then 2 sentences later, they'll tell you how much they love you and how great you are. It is so mashed potato mind. It's blender brain. You know what I mean? It's like it puts you in this thing where you have all these emotions for this person, and you want to believe that they love you. So therefore, you excuse a lot of their behavior. And I'm going to say it again. This case has talked a lot about the domestic and the sexual stuff, but it does not address the mental. So I'm going to take you on a journey today. This is going to be the first audio. I actually did this a night ago. It took me a whole day to make 4 pages front and back of this audio, because I was breaking it down. And then I recorded the video. The video was almost 3 hours long. And I watch YouTube, y'all. Right now, my introduction to me, is long. I hate long ass introductions. Most people don't like long ass videos. But in this situation, I feel like it's important to break some of this down, but I need to make it shorter than 3 freaking hours. Okay. So I'm going to cut my stuff down. I'm going to really highlight the most important things. And if you have been exposed to the mental side of this, you know what I mean. Okay, so we're going to start this out. I've had to boost the damn audio to ear bleed section, okay, because that's just how these audios work. I'm warning you now. If you're wearing headphones, I wouldn't do it, because there comes parts where you barely can hear him, and then she's damn yelling, okay, and it's loud. So, but I don't really have a choice. I want you to hear both sides of the conversation. I've turned the captions on this. There's a part with I don't know. We'll just start. And then I'm going to point out some stuff to you. I'm going to say first, pay attention. Let me get my notes. Pay attention that this whole back and forth starts out with her accusing him of procrastinating. Okay. And I'm going to highlight some things right after that of who's the real procrastinator and who's lying to who here. Okay, so let's just start.
Well, just think about how you approached me with it. You said, I gotta talk to you. Of course, we have to see Dr. Laurel. We gotta see her separately. Um, you were looking for me to go since you saw her last time by yourself. You called Nathan, and he told you that this week doesn't look.
I'll pause it here and say he's already said to her, okay, I need to go because you've already seen her last time. That's a lie. I can prove it. But we'll play a little bit more.
Good. Because there's so much shit going on as there is.
Yeah, well, I connected Laurel and Nathan so that he could plan it for you, or he could schedule you. And then when I got that text from him today saying it would have to be next week, I guess, I said to you, can we talk about this? Because it's twofold. One, I have to plan to go see her too, you know? So it does.
Now, I want you to, again, remember what the words here. She says, I have to go plan to see her too. Okay, now remember, that implies she's not been to see this lady. Wait.
Well, that's never going to conflict because whenever you.
Well, it does because here's why it does. It's a marriage, she's a marriage counselor. And if I'm going to see her by myself only, it's completely pointless and redundant.
Why?
That's because she's not my counselor. The client is the marriage, right? So it does no good for me to be the only one that goes if that's what it's going to turn out to be. And because I have been the last one to go several times by myself, I think.
Now watch. Now this flips. Now she's been the last one to go several times by herself. She's going to say that she's seen her twice and did like an audio, and in call. I'm going to prove to you right now because, this is before any court case. Okay. And to prove it to you, I'm not going to get the same pickle I got in last time with the thread video. So this was the email, first email, March of 2015, that if you'll remember in court that this Christian, I'm not going to get his last name right, Carino, I think that's how you say it, Carino, had sent to this Dr. Laurel Anderson. And look at the message here. Laurel, my closest friend Amber on topic wants to come see you alone first and then with her husband Johnny. Okay, this is in March. Now, if you want to go back and listen to Dr. Laura on the stand, I implore you to do it. I'm not going to play it like I did last time, like I mentioned before. Why? But I will tell you, trust me, I got the notes. I know how this shit went down. So basically what happened is after this March email, Chris Carino sent another email. Get it right here. Another email at September 9th of 2015. Okay, so do the math. April, May, June, July, August. 6 months later, he sends this doctor another email like, hey, I've got Amber wants to see you. So Amber's drug her ass for 6 months. But not even bothered to contact this woman after asking him to do this back in March. Okay, so now I'm going to fast forward to this little horrible thing I had to do with, it's just me, with my little third grade writing book. Anyway, so September 9th is when he sent this email. Finally, on Sunday, the 27th, Amber Heard emails Dr. Laura directly to set up a meeting. She says that she can do Thursday, October the 1st. 4 days later, and guess who's there for this first initial meeting? Both Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. So I'm just pointing this out for you to understand she's already manipulating him. She's already lying to him to make him feel like he's the one that's irresponsible. Although she waited 6 months to even email this lady. And then as soon as she got with her about doing a meeting, they were there within 4 days. So just keep that in mind.
I've seen her now 2 or 3 times.
Have you really? By yourself?
Yeah, probably maybe 2 times.
So he says right there, have you really? And she's gonna dial down. Yep. Maybe 2 times. Oh, in the phone.
And then I called her. So yeah, like 3 times if you count the phone, like a proper phone thing. And And if I'm the only one that continues to do that, then it is redundant. You know what I mean? It's kind of pointless since the client is the marriage. It can't just be me. That's why I said it affects me.
So you mean if you continue to do it and I don't do it, that's redundant? Because she's a marriage counselor. Is that what you're saying? The client is the marriage. You just said that if you keep doing it, it's redundant.
Like there's no point in if there's no point in only one person going to a marriage counselor.
Exactly. So
consistently,
you're already saying right there in that you've written it off in your head that I won't do it.
No.
So then why would you say just you doing it is redundant? That's implying that only one person is going to see this lady.
No, I'm explaining why it's redundant for only one person to see this lady.
But I never talked about one person only seeing this lady.
I know.
Then why are we talking about it? Because why are we talking about that?
I don't know. You seem to be. We're talking about it.
No,
I
but
guess because you seem to be upset that
No.
I asked you if you were going to make this a priority. Because I know you're.
And I need to reiterate this. In this audio, Johnny Depp is recording. I can prove that to you later on. But just trust me. I've listened to this damn thing now 4 times. He's doing the recording. Right now they're bringing up how she just said he got upset. And it'll come out in this conversation where they apparently had a 45-minute apparent argument before he came, sat down or whatever, and hit the record button on his phone or whatever it is. Johnny Depp rarely ever recorded these audios. And when he did, she was very well aware he was recording. I say that because there's many audios of Amber Heard recording that no one knew she was recording. We know this too. But for him to, after that 45-minute conversation, for him to go sit down and hit that damn record button to catch this conversation, remember, he lived this life. So he knew, I guarantee you, not guarantee you, I'm making this my opinion. My opinion is because he's lived this, he knew it wasn't over. He knew it wasn't over.
Your schedule is busy, but if
No, you didn't ask me if I was going to make this a priority. You said, is this a priority?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Is this a priority?
I'm not quite sure how those are different, but I'm sorry you see that one is.
Well, they're very different things.
Okay. I'm sorry that I said.
Don't get wound up.
I'm not wound up. I'm absolutely not wound up at all.
Okay.
Am I yelling at you or calling you names or?
No. I can hear your voice change.
Yeah.
Now, where it's kind of funny, she says that. Am I yelling at you or am I calling you names? Oh, we'll get there.
You have expressions and feelings, but I'm not upset or attacking you.
I didn't say you were. I just said don't get wound up. That's all.
I'm not wound up.
Okay.
Jeez.
Okay. Well, listen. All I'm saying is, you asked if it was a priority to me. I said it was. And you said, okay, then we have to you got to get this, you got to do the appointments, you got to make this work, you got to, whatever. You got to take the time, your whole day is not taken up by these other things. When in fact, there is a large amount of my day taken up by these various things that are going on within the next week or so.
No doubt. Yeah, I know. And I know you're busy.
And so...
that's why I asked if you were going to make it a priority in that sense that...
You didn't ask if I was going to make it a priority. You asked if it was a priority.
Okay, I guess what I'm saying is, in me saying if it is a priority, what I'm asking you or saying in that is, will you make this a priority in your day? By me saying, is it a priority? That's what I'm asking. So if
it's a priority, Amber, I don't need to make it a priority. It is a priority, and I'm going to try and work out a time when I can go see the woman.
Okay.
It's difficult to pin down, and I can't give you a date this very second.
I wasn't expecting a date.
And that's what this is all about.
No, it's not.
You
got upset that I asked you this question, and I have been trying to understand why. Because I'm just trying to understand. Remember, that's why we started talking. I said, I feel like you're getting upset because maybe... Oh, yeah, you think I'm saying you fucked up. I was trying to understand why you were upset by that question. That's all.
What I was saying, that whole thing...
You were the one who was upset.
I don't feel like it was... I don't feel like it's well, I guess it is prejudgment only in the sense that it exists within you already. It's not something that just happens, you know, I miss an appointment or something, and you go, well, of course you fucking did. That kind of deal, It was expected, you know.
Okay.
So it's expected,
Okay.
I guess.
Okay.
So let's forget the prejudgment or whatever. It's just expected that, you know, if you just leave it to me, I won't get it done. Therefore, you feel you have to take it
Did I
into
say
your
that?
hands. No, but that's kind of what it is.
I'm sorry you felt that way. I am. That sucks to feel.
Well, just understand if you want to know really if this is a priority for me, then why don't you just sit back and let me do what I do, and you see if I take care of it. If I don't take care of it, then you got your answer.
I will absolutely do just that because I don't have any other choice but to do just that. But that still doesn't mean I can't ask my husband if you're going to make something a priority that I have made myself and that you have promised to make, and that knowing you're busy and that you juggle a lot of things and your focus has to be on so many different things, I can ask you. I have every right to ask you, my husband, if you're going to make something a priority without it becoming a 45-minute fight about semantics and inferences and judgments.
Semantics. If this is semantics.
Yeah, here we go with these words she likes to throw around. Semantics, inferences, judgments. This will all come back to like raise its ugly head later on down the road. And again, I want to reiterate this or make this statement. If you were never watching any of this and this was the only audio you'd ever watched and you only watched the first 20 minutes of this audio, this kind of civil conversation back and forth between a married couple. Yes, Johnny kind of is playing a little semantics with this. Is it a priority? Or are you going to make it a priority? Again, if we didn't know anything else, you'd be like, all right, dude, you get what the deal is, right? She just wants you to go, blah, blah, blah. But because we know enough about the situation to kind of see how she twists things, remembering again that they just said this had been a 45-minute conversation that we've not even heard. So now he's recording it. So I think it got bad enough for Johnny to want to sit down and have proof. So I don't think they were just sipping those sweet tea on the front porch in the porch swing, discussing whether or not it was time to, go get the eggs out of the chicken coop. I think it got, pretty dramatic. You know what I mean? For him to start recording it. But again, it plays into this how she starts using these words like she does to almost. I just remember something that happened in my life one time. When you read a lot of books, you do start to use words, differently, like different words that people can take as you trying to belittle them or make them feel uneducated. So I just kind of throw that out there, but she uses them in a way to kind of to insult it. I mean, I've seen her do it time and time again, but what she says kind of
Baby, then our entire existence is going to be a fucking
I would love
just
to
a back
get
and
into
forth.
the existential
Can't
kind
let him finish.
of or fatalistic conversation with you, but I don't feel like it's helpful.
Existential, fatalistic, like none of these words. He's not saying it's fatalistic. He's not being existential. Like I don't know where she's pulling. It's like she doesn't even kind of know the true meanings of these words. It's almost like she flings them out, like my grandmother used to say those $2 words.
Existentialist about it. I'm not fatalistic about it. I'm being realistic and I'm being as honest as I can.
Okay.
I'm being as honest as I know how to be. And that is to say that it is a priority to me. As I said when you asked if it was a priority, I will make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Which means, I suppose, I will make the priority a priority.
Let's see.
Okay.
And then
That's all.
Again, if I was being fair, I'd be like, wait, well, I don't make, I'm gonna make a priority the priority, and then it said, what the hell? But again, I'm giving benefit of the doubt because this poor dude's head's been twisted up like you wouldn't believe, and it's gonna come out as to how I can't imagine. I hope that he's living a happy life now. And I messaged him today on Instagram and drinking all the mega pints and smoking all the Mary Jane he wants and celebrating a little bit because my God, man, the mental injustice. Fuck, I'm not monetized. Why am I working? The mental abuse this dude suffered to me far outweighs the DV and the SA accusations.
So asked. I
And
mean, but
we
I
can-
have been talking to you about it since. In a way that has been trying to diffuse how upset you got about that question.
how
And
I didn't get upset.
you got really defensive and kind of aggressive with me.
No.
That's it.
When?
Okay.
When you asked me if it was a priority?
Okay, well, that maybe I should have said that's how I felt. And
I know how you feel.
okay, so I feel like that. And I also feel like I can't be expected to be in, nor would you want me to be, in a relationship where that somehow is, a major offense. Beautiful watch, by the way.
Thank you.
Like that's somehow a major offense.
And then flings in a compliment about his watch. It's so twisted. This sounds nice right now. It gets so bad.
Because I asked you if it's a priority.
It's not. It's
You're
not.
not a tyrant, it's not like I can't. I want to feel like I don't have to walk on eggshells, and I can have the freedom to,
Feel that freedom of speech.
that we can have the freedom to like say normal things to one another. Like, hey, I care about this thing that you promised me. Are you going to do it? Even though that might be, even at best, or at worst, I'm sorry, annoying.
Remember, she's the one that put it off for 6 months. And the minute she finally did touch base with this doctor 6 months later, 4 days later, they were both in her office. Remember that. Remember this whole conversation, how she's trying to be like, you're not making this a priority. You're the one dragging ass. She dragged ass for 6 months. He was there within 4 days.
To you, that's got to be okay without it becoming this. And I've been trying to diffuse it since it started by trying to understand what made you so upset. It's one of the first things I said in this conversation is I'm going to try really hard to understand why you're so. I said, oh, I understand why. I'm trying to understand why you're upset. If it's simply because I asked you if you're going to, like, do this thing and you felt
And remember how she's framing it. You're upset. You're the one upset. You're the one that got upset.
as though that was prejudging you, then there's got to be a better way for you to tell me how you feel.
But don't you think it is?
Pardon?
Don't you think it is prejudging?
No, I think prejudging would be not to bother asking, but that's my honest answer. I think it says a lot that I thought I could ask you. I'm giving you.
I'm not saying you can't ask me.
You are, right? It's
No,
like,
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying
your
it's
actions have told me.
What she's not letting him finish. Remember that Dr. Laurel, when she did testify, talked about how she had this rapid fire, talked over him, interjected, wouldn't let him finish. She's doing it now. While she's accused him of being the one that was upset, she's the hero over here because she's like, she's the one trying to fix everything and be the good thing. He's the asshole. I mean, now she's
Right.
talking.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying
Your
it's
actions have told me that, though. It's been a 45-minute talk that I think neither one of us can wait to get out of. And it shouldn't be like that. Just to, even if it had annoyed you for some reason, it shouldn't become this.
See the words here, the inflammatory annoyed you.
If Nathan tells you that this week is going to be difficult,
Mm-hmm.
and that upsets you,
Didn't upset me at all.
I think that right there is the glimpse into how it got. It's a 45-minute thing that we didn't hear anything. He says if Nathan, responds to you that this week is too busy, can't be this week, and then he says, and that upsets you, I'm sorry here, but but the person that has more credibility to their words is Johnny Depp. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. What am I apologizing? I sound like him at this point. He has more credibility because he's not lying about so many damn different things. She's lying right now. She's never seen this doctor ever, but she's telling him she's seen her multiple times.
It did not upset me at all. Not at all. I was.
Then why?
Why
were you saying? Then why were you saying that
just
next week's not good or okay?
I had a conversation with you in the same tone.
Again, not letting him finish. He's bringing up valid points, and instead of letting him finish them, she just cuts him off.
Not lighter than I am now. How could you say it upset me? I gave you zero indication to feel like it upset me. I said explicitly and implicitly both that I wasn't upset, that I was attempting to have a conversation with you because I understood you were busy and handling a lot of things.
And you wanted to know when I could see the lady.
I didn't say when. I was not expecting you to know your schedule at all, nor would I ever.
Mike, that's why I said yes. I said to you, I got to look at the schedule. I got to look at.
That's what you said, but I certainly didn't ask you for a time or any sort of indication of when you would go. I asked if it was a priority. It was a broader.
Again, remember, if she's asking him if it's a priority and he says to her, look, this week is just busy. I promise I'll get to it. And now she's like, well, I didn't ask you for a time. Well, she's asking him to prioritize a meeting with his doctor. And yeah, he's trying to tell her he's going to, he doesn't have time this week, but he'll make it. And then she's like, well, I didn't ask you for that. What kind of twisted up shit is this?
Question.
Right, and I answered the question.
Okay, but you just said I was asking you for when you were going to go, and I'm clarifying that I did not.
Okay.
Because that's the foolish thing. That's part of why I asked you if it was a priority, is because I know you're dealing with a lot. I would never expect you to know your own schedule.
Yeah, no, I don't. Oh,
Now I tried to figure out what this was. It's got to be him playing with one of the little dogs. But he's like, blah, 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 blah. So he's again right now. So he's kind of doing the turtle thing where he's trying to he's paying attention to the dog. Remember the same dog she accused him of hanging out the window and all that shit. That's him playing with the dog right here.
Beatles. I told you. I told.
Yeah, he's done. This dog.
Okay.
I'm sorry you felt judged by that question, but I wasn't. You're very sensitive to me.
I'm a very sensitive fucking person. I don't know what to say.
But you've got really thin skin about maybe me.
Okay, we got the first. Now we got the first insult. I want you to remember this, please. Stick with me on this one. I know that a little bit. Okay, so first off, she's just flung out your thin skin.
Fuck up. I didn't even have to say you were or that I thought that for you.
Thin skin.
Maybe me thinking you're a fuck up. I didn't even have to say.
Thin skinned about me thinking that you're a fuck up. You following what we tracking? I think you're thin skinned about me thinking that you're a fuck up.
You were or that I thought that for you to feel that way.
No, you don't.
I hope one day you can give me a little bit more credit, or maybe assume I have less of a problem, as you said. This is about me having a problem, not you. Even though I didn't say you had one.
I think the only problem is that.
See the twisting? You see the twisting? Anybody out there that has been a victim of this shit, this mental gymnastic bullshit, she's turned it into him thinking that she had a problem because she thought he was possibly a fuck up. And then the problem that he's having a problem with her having a problem. Like what?
Even though I didn't say you had one.
Even
though I didn't say you had one, you think that
I think the only problem is that there is a prejudgment. There doesn't exist. You just automatically. It's automatic. It's built in.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that
you think that I won't remember or I'll fuck it up or something like that. And
I didn't say that you would fuck it up, but the irony here that you miss is that you're making that judgment on me. That's what I think is amazing that you miss every time, is the irony that you're so sensitive to judgment yourself or being told you fucked up when you then in the same sentence.
Now, again, this is important because it's 14 minutes in. Now he's sensitive to judgment. He's the one being sensitive to judgment. Please let that sink in. I probably should even do like a Microsoft Word document that how this happens. If you've never been a victim of mental abuse, then you might not get this, but it's so important how this conversation carries on. He's the one sensitive to judgment. Remember that.
As I pointed out earlier, we'll turn that around and make a judgment on someone else.
Okay. All right.
Well, which is what you're doing when you say it's my problem, even though.
Well, I guess our feelings are based on experience. Mine are based on experience. Yours are based on experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you talk to Nathan?
No, I just had put him in email contact with Laurel.
So now he's asked her directly. She's not even bothered to talk to the guy. She sent the email to get the doctor and him connected about his schedule. She's not even bothered to talk to him. The guy that schedules his shit, she's not even bothered to communicate with.
So you didn't talk to him after he said we can't.
No.
The dates aren't good. Or...
No.
I don't know if I believe
No,
that.
I didn't.
What do you do?
Let me see. Yeah, no.
No? Okay. Well, let me take care of it. I'll talk with Nathan. I'll talk with Dr. Laurel or whatever. I'll figure it out. Figure out when I can get there. I'll get there for sure. Okay?
All right. That's all I'm saying.
It's beautiful.
Leave soon. I gotta meet with Christy and probably doctors.
I think probably to please Karina's parents.
Well,
Her
very
family
soon.
more.
And now he's just turned on the television, which makes it even more difficult. I apologize. It's kind of eerie, though, what he's watching. If you listen about a marriage and being shoved downstairs, and I mean, it's eerie. Okay. So that's what's happened. He's just got on the TV. You're about to hear him thank her for breakfast. So we think this conversation is settled. He says he's going to make sure he gets it scheduled. You know, God only knows what she did there. I've kind of pointed that out, but this is important.
Newly married at the
But I need to
tender
talk to
age
Christy
of
about,
21,
obviously,
Karina left her family and all that was familiar behind.
what the fuck is gonna
Started a new
happen,
life with her new husband.
Sorry.
He's mentioning talking to his sister here about what's going to happen. But I believe, my opinion, he's talking about his mother. If you don't know, his mother is terminal. He's moved her across the street, got her 24/7 nursing care. Even after all the stuff we learned in court about kind of how she treated him as a child, he's still into her last days, made sure she was comfortable and took care of her. You'll hear Amber say, as he says this, I'm sorry. So that again makes me feel like he's talking about his mother. He's going through that while all this shit's going on, by the way. Her wanting him to get to a marriage counselor. He's losing his mother.
Accepted the choice that she made to come up here, leave all her family.
Nathan said your meeting was canceled today, too. I don't know if you
And
knew
don't
that.
speak the language.
Oh, yeah,
not
there was
familiar with the
a
culture.
How did she adjust to life here in the States?
what was it about? Happy. It was about the
completely different. She
happy.
was nervous and like a stranger in a strange land.
While going to school to learn English, the newlywed was completely dependent on her husband.
And so he helped her a lot and kind of guided her at the beginning.
Karina devoted herself to learning everything she could about life in America. And she was particularly devoted to building her life with David.
Karina really wanted to be a mother.
I think so.
It was something that she knew almost her whole life. She wanted to be a mom, and she was really good at it.
In 1996, they had their first child, a son. A few years later, their daughter was born. As the couple was starting their family, David was also starting his career. He took a job as a language teacher at the University of California, San Diego.
And I'll see you later
You know,
tonight.
financially,
Okay.
just
You
kind of
taking off?
starting off, it was a little bit of
Yeah,
a struggle.
I
They
was,
had a lot of
I was
money, but
gonna
they had, enough to
just
pay the bills and,
hanging
have
out with
food and
you
everything.
until
It seemed Karina was actually living the life she had always dreamed.
Don't let the closed caption, it's picking up her and it's picking up him. What she just said is, okay, well, I will see you later tonight. And then she talks about how she's going out somewhere. He's also, I think, has somewhere to go.
Of as a little girl in Mexico. From the perfect husband
They had great plans for this place.
to the perfect home that David spent years saving
Eerie.
up for.
She wanted this house. She wanted this house, and David, made every effort to
I was
house together, and
hanging
they
out.
did. They were just the ideal family.
I was hanging out.
and
You said that
everybody
you were gonna read and
thought
stuff. So
so, and just
put-
you know,
I mean,
thought what
I-
a wonderful family.
Yeah,
I
no.
can't. I can't
appearances
move
can
some
be
things
deceiving,
around.
as revealed in
I'm gonna see
Karina's
if I can't
letters
just
to her mother.
do them now because
Sometimes I
didn't
don't
know
know
you were
why
leaving.
I married him.
I'm not leaving
wrote
right this second,
Karina.
but
I'm in despair.
I would put some makeup on the hickey.
thanks.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
So see, remember this person that talks about how she always wears makeup. God forbid she walks out in public. Has anybody take a picture of her with the bruise? He tells her she might want to put some makeup on the hickey. And apparently she gave him a look or whatever because he's like, what? What was wrong with that? So like, again, this lady.
If you want
As
that,
Karina Ditto was fighting for her life,
I'll wait.
It's just a little
Ditto
gift.
was
I'll wait for you.
describing to first
Why?
responders the events leading
I mean,
up to
I don't
and
have any,
immediately after his wife's
right.
horrifying accident.
I don't have anything
Earlier
like
that evening, the kids went to bed.
huge.
Then Karina and David settled in for the
But
night
you
to
have a
watch
whole stack
Braveheart,
of them,
one
and
of
they kind of
Karina's
make me sad
favorites.
seeing them downstairs. It
We
just
got our
feels really
snacks
like
and candy and
shitty to
chips
me
and
as a
drinks and
human.
stuff.
feels like really
And
And she talks about him. You have this, that he has something. She talks about how he's got a bunch of stacks of whatever. And then she says something about the stairs and something being shitty. It's hard to hear because the TV, but yeah. So
watching a movie.
Well, we haven't had a moment where either one of us has said, "Hey, why don't we do this?"
I'm just telling you how I feel. I hope you don't feel judged. Sorry if you
went
do.
upstairs. David returned.
see, and again, right there, she's like, well, I'm just telling you how I feel. Sorry if you feel judged. What in the world would that go back and forth where she says, here, go ahead, you can do this. And he's like, no, I'm going to wait for you. And then she says something about shitty. And then he's like, no, I'm going to wait for you. She's like, well, something shitty. And then says, sorry if you feel like you're being judged. Like, again, with this stuff that she does, insults him, underhanded insults.
What happened next was simply unthinkable.
I know, but if that's how you feel, why don't you say, "Hey, let's sit down and open these things"?
I tried.
You did when?
Bang, bang,
Like
bang,
this
bang,
morning,
coming
I did it a couple
downstairs.
days ago.
And I jumped
It's
up and
okay.
ran over and
You're right. We haven't really had a lot of time.
laying at the foot of the stairs. And
That's
she
kind of
wasn't
why I brought
moving,
that
wasn't
upstairs.
talking.
David says he grabbed Karina
I mean,
and
that's
pulled her
kind of
away from the stairs.
why I,
Kneeling by her side, he shook her. When she didn't respond,
That's why I
began CPR.
brought that upstairs because I thought we
Finally,
had a moment. We
started
had a moment,
moving.
you know.
She was grabbing on
I
me,
thought we
pulled herself up and I was
would
holding
too.
her up.
It's just
And then she just stopped moving. She just kind of collapsed and was
got onto the
laying there,
road it wants to be on, I
lifeless
suppose.
in my arms, and I didn't know what to do.
I'll open it. I'll open it with you. I'll open it with you
I don't know
later.
if I started doing CPR again or not, but I realized that I just didn't know what was happening to her.
And that is when David made that 911 call.
My wife heard something on the stairs. Can you bring it out of there? Yeah, I need to get her. I need to get her.
It was just after
wanna-
midnight.
let
First
me know if I can do
responder
anything
Lisa Challenger was
or
on
to
duty.
help.
We were expecting to see a follow.
With Betty soon, Jen, I'm sorry you're dealing with that.
Karina's
I'm here
heart
for you
had
if you need
stopped,
it.
and she was covered in her own blood from a gash to the back of her.
So she's basically says, sorry, everything you're going with Betty Sue, which is mother. She says, let me know if there's anything I can do to help you with that. Going basically going through a lot. This come up. This is ironic too that she's saying this right now, but
Head. The amount of blood surprised the experienced paramedic,
sure.
but it was the location of Karina's body
Try
that
and
immediately made her suspicious.
The stairway was
see if I
here,
can still do my meeting. I
and the
probably
patient was over
won't be
here,
able
so
to,
you don't
but,
fall down the
Why
stairway
do
and
it
then
now?
bounce around the corner.
Late.
From the blood pattern around Karina
Because
to these
if you're leaving,
scratches
then
on
that was
David's
the only
face.
reason I
He said
stayed.
that when he was doing CPR at one point, she had come back too, and then he got the scratches on his face from that.
Lisa felt the
get it
scene
done.
actually suggested
Well, I
there
probably-
had
I don't
been
know if I
an
can.
intense
I have to
struggle,
email them.
and that David's story didn't
She's talking about shifting a meeting around or something.
add up.
Kind of
She-
lays a little bit of that blame at his feet as well, because she talks about, well, you're so busy, blah, blah, blah. And it's because of how this conversation goes. I'm saying that normally, again, if this was the only audio I'd ever heard, trust me, I wouldn't be making these judgments or whatever. And she loves that word, judgment.
had so much blood on her face that if he had put his mouth over her mouth, he would have had her blood on his face.
Given their concerns about David's behavior and the suspicious nature of the scene, first responders called the police.
Oh, no, I'm okay.
But
Sorry.
here at the house that night, David repeatedly told them Karina's injuries were the result of a fall down the stairs. So
Thank you
police
for
allowed
breakfast.
him to leave the scene to be at his wife's side at the hospital. What the cops didn't know at the time.
Okay, I finally got the thank you for breakfast is the key to jump forward. Okay, so that conversation happened. They talked about making this meeting with Dr. Laurel a priority. He says he promises he'll get to it. Back and forth. She's walked off. He's thanked her for breakfast. You think it's over, right? Are we thinking it's over? Look at the time here. 20 minutes and 55 seconds. I'm going to have to jump to about 20 minutes later. Okay, 25 minutes later. 25 minutes. It's just him basically sitting there watching TV. There's no conversation being had. They've settled things. They've had a talk. He's promised her. Should be over.
How do you feel about David Ditto today?
I only see him as a son who left. A son who made us feel good at one time. I forgive him.
You sure you don't need your meds? You need them?
Then she comes back. First thing out of her mouth is, "You sure you don't need your meds?" Okay. Do you think there's no?
You want me to tuck you in?
Okay.
Now that you think they're being a little silly, ask to tuck them in. I'm gonna let this play.
I'm not gonna fall asleep for long.
Okay.
For sure.
I'll see you later.
Where you going?
If you were on the jury, what would you think of David Ditto's emotional testimony? Chat now on Facebook and Twitter.
Well,
Bullshit, his testimony.
Ironically, she says right there, his testimony is bullshit. He says, "Huh?" She says, "It's bullshit." Is his testimony? Huh? Talk about the TV.
I'm just really insincere.
He's still in the aircraft.
that did?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Stop, I'll shoot.
Now I've got this timestamp. So again, catching up. She's walked off. She said, "Okay, I'll be back later. I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, thanks for breakfast." So she'll see him later tonight. She's come over and joked with him about tucking him in and asking if he needs his meds. Okay, you follow me? We on track, right? We're on track, right?
He had been beaten bad on the torso, his head. It was almost overkill.
I wish it, I wish
He was a brat. He wanted people to see him.
really bad.
He had the second largest wagon collection in the world.
And he had something else.
Well, I know.
But no, I love you.
Found girlfriends.
I love you too.
Now there, it's so low, and because of the TV, she says something like, "I wish something something," and then he's like, "Me too,"
Who killed Benji Novak? 48 hours Saturday. On television, online, on the go, and now on iPad. CBS News.
You want to take another night or two?
If you want to, we can.
Then out of the blue, she says, "I heard," but maybe the captions is right. She says, "You want to take another night or two." She just said earlier, "I'll see you later tonight." Now she's come back and said, "You want to take another night or two?" Like, if any of you recognize this, it's like her need to argue, or to me, it feels like she wants to fucking argue with this guy. Like now she's seeking attention from him. She's flinging out now the doctor appointment, the marriage counselor appointment. I'm gonna say that loosely, not doctor. Let me correct, marriage counselor. And now she's like, "You want me to take another couple of nights?" Just comes back and just says this. He's like, "If you want to."
Years ago, 48 hours first reported on a cold case that had become so hot it rocked the Los Angeles Police Department. Tonight,
Another bit of silent.
I wish that there's just such a lack of senseless. You know, there's just so senseless, you know.
Now she just says something about, I wish, something about it being this is just senseless. Remember, this conversation is settled. She's walked off. They've gotten everything figured out, and now she's back again to bring shit back up. And now she's saying stuff that just wish things were just not senseless. Like, could you imagine being in this relationship where you think your conversations ended well, thankfully, and here we are back to square freaking one.
What's senseless?
For what?
But what is senseless? What?
Like,
What's happening?
See, and right there,
Why is it going-
he's like, what is happening? Like, okay, they've ended, they walked off. She's like, this is senseless. He's like, what's senseless? He's like, okay, what's happening? You know what I mean? He's like, what? I would be the same way. I'd be like, did I just miss something? She's walked off. Remember this, I fast forwarded. She walked off for 20 minutes and come back, and this is what we get.
What's happening? Why is it going there?
Why is it going there?
I just asked you if you were going to make something a priority, and you had a problem with it, and I tried for
She's brought it back up again. I just asked you if you'd make something a priority. My God, this is what I meant by this is the thing that nobody focused on a lot, because it was a lot about the DV and the SA, and I get that. But this shit where you have settled the conversation, he said, I'll make it for you. She said, okay, that sounds great. Walks off, tells him he's thin skinned. She's flung the first underhanded insult. Now she's back again, bringing this shit back up about him not making it a 40. I cannot do what I did last time, because y'all are going to get bored of hearing me stop every 5 fucking seconds. But like, please pay attention to how this is going. And I know the closed caption, comment below if there's something you don't really hear. I've got pages of notes on this. Okay. Just make sure you get the timestamp in there, and I'll try to look back and try and, if I know what it says, I'll try and tell you.
long time to diffuse it.
It never got escalated. It never escalated.
But if I look at what you first said to me, the more I think about it, the worse the taste is in my mouth, because I realize, like,
now remember, she's walked off for 20 minutes. She said, the more I think about it, the worse the taste is in my mouth. She can't let it go. She can't move on.
I worked really hard to try and keep it cool and
See,
what do you want to call it?
he's the one that works hard.
Constructive. And
It's so low. I apologize.
to what? For
Blow
what
you out of
I
here.
put in. After. I mean, because I asked you if you were doing something that directly affects me, majorly. If it was going to be a priority to you, you had a problem. It seems so tyrannical, or like, you know.
It can seem whatever it seems like to you. I'm sorry. Look, you know, I think you have control issues, and I don't want you to.
Mark that. 50 minutes in, he tells her, I think you have control issues. That's the only thing he said remotely negative her way this entire conversation. And let me tell you something. Whenever she uses the accusation that he's thin-skinned, timestamp this. First thing he said, I think you have control issues. She takes that. It's like she was waiting on something like that. And here we go, folks.
You can't control every situation, in not just your life, but your husband's life. Everything moves exactly at your pace, or exactly at your time, or this has to happen, or I don't like it, or You got control issues, and they are upsetting at times. Really, really, something that needs to be dealt with. You know, you want to control things. You want to control me. You want to control. You can't do it. You can't do it. I'm sorry.
I thought I was asking you if you were gonna make time for something that directly affects our lives, and I thought I was doing so because I know you had a lot else, other things to think about, and you might have forgotten it. But you, of all people, you said you don't want to feel judged. You, of all people, have such a sensitivity to that. You don't want to feel judged.
No, judged.
No,
It's
no
about
one does,
prejudged.
but you don't want to be. What I'm trying to say is that you have such a sensitivity to being judged that I think you, of all people, should know how terrible it makes me feel when you judge me and call me a control freak or say I have issues.
I didn't call you control freak. I said you have control issues.
Okay.
You want to control things. You want to control everything. This is not new information for you. Amber.
So this
Come
is
on.
something, I just want to point out that you you have a real problem with being called names or being
Mark that
judged.
right there.
So
He just says you have a real problem with being called names or what feels being judged. Remember, the only thing he said to her was that she has control issues. Remember that. Now she's going to talk about calling somebody names. I've got a list over here where I told you I watched this before, made it almost 3 hour long video of all the names that she has called him through this video. I've got a list. And I'll go ahead and so you can understand because it's important, I think, right now. She's already called him thin skinned, told him he was sensitive to judgment. We were back at 14 minutes then. She'll call him tyrannical. She'll accuse him of hurling insults at her. Remember, only thing he said in this about her can be controlling. She'll accuse him saying that as hurling insults. She'll tell him he has anger issues. She'll say, shows me who you are. She calls him a legit crazy person. She accuses him of torturing her, of abusing her. She blames his mother for his attitude. She calls him gross and embarrassment. She'll tell him his kids need therapy and that she will pay for it to mock him when he brings up how she scared his son. She'll tell him he's not worth it. She'll call him resentful. She'll say she dislikes him. I mean, like, remember this. So timestamp this in your mind. The only thing he said to her this whole time was about the controlling thing. And she says right there, he has a problem with being called names. And he's the one that has an issue with being judged.
you, of all people, should know how terrible it makes me feel how you're doing that to me right now.
Talk to anyone, Amber. Come on.
I do. I speak to a lot of people. You're the only one telling me that I have control issues right now, and that you're the person I'm speaking to now. That's why I'm telling you how what you're saying makes me feel. Other people aren't helping you.
I'm
right
sorry.
now.
I'm sorry that it makes you feel.
You don't like being judged, and you're asking me not to judge you. I mean, with the thinnest skin, most sensitivity of anybody I've ever met in my whole life, and yet.
Look how low she's digging at it. With the thinnest skin, the lowest sensitive. She's calling him it's another way of calling him a pussy. Telling him to grow up, Johnny, grow up. My God. Now here we are.
You sit here and hurl judgments towards me about my issues because I asked you if you were going to make this a priority.
You have control issues, Amber.
Again, you're just repeating the thing that I'm telling you is
You
making
didn't
me.
know that. You are aware.
Again, you're repeating the thing that I'm telling you is making me feel bad. So you repeating it?
It's not news to you. You're not going to pretend like this has never come up in your
You're
life
just
before.
reiterating the thing that I'm telling. I'm not arguing with you, am I? I'm telling you what you're saying to me is bad. It makes me feel bad, and you of all people.
Okay, what you're saying
know,
to me feels bad.
What, by telling you that you're hurting me? No doubt.
earlier.
That's all all I asked you is if you're going to make it a priority. And that is giving you full license to sit here and hurl insults at me?
You didn't ask me if I was going to make it a priority.
I did.
You asked me if it was a priority.
Yes, that's asking you if you're going to make
To
it.
me.
That's
No,
exactly.
not if you're going to make it one.
How are they different? Exactly.
If you have a priority, you have a priority. If you have a priority, you don't have to make it a priority. Because it's a priority already. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the department, the redundancy department.
Thank you so much for clarifying.
Just thought you should, that's what you asked, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, thank you. Now that really clears it up.
Okay. Well, that's,
Here, there's the little condescending. Well, thanks so much for clearing that up for me. Smart ass. I mean, we all know that you're so smart. Like I've heard this come from her so many times. That little, oh, you're the great one. I mean, it's so.
I'm sorry to upset you by saying that that you have a control issue, but you do, and it really fucks with me at times, and I don't want you. I most of the time go along with your thing just so that nobody's hassled and there's no weirdness, but sometimes I just can't. I can't do every single thing you want me to do at the exact time you want me to do it, and let you know when it's done. And I just can't. It's just exhausting, Amber.
So I'm really sorry I put you through that. I didn't realize that's what I was doing today by asking you if it was a priority.
No, it's not.
But
Just
I'm still
today.
really
It's
sorry.
what you do sometimes.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that you go through that. It must feel really terrible. I'm gonna leave now because it feels really. It feels really terrible. It feels really terrible to talk to you.
Think about that. What you just said.
Recently.
First, it feels really terrible to talk to you. She didn't get any response to this. She says recently. Like, my God. Remember that she giggled to come up and asked if she wanted him to tuck him in, told me he had a great watch. Now she's back to the you're a horrible person.
A lot, and I don't think I deserved it today. I don't think I did anything wrong, but I'm still sorry, and I'm gonna leave now, and I think it would be best if I just had some space, and I'll let you have your own space too. But I feel really terrible talking to you. Shouldn't be. And if you have anger issues about me and that have accrued over the years, they are coming out. Sorry. But I don't think I deserve this. And you insulting me when I'm telling you repeatedly, it hurts me what you're saying. And then that you feel the impulse to just repeat it over and over. It's really sad. Shows me who you are.
That's where she says, this really sad, shows who you are. Repeating insults to me over and over again. This is because she told her she had control issues, but he's the thin-skinned one, remember? This is what's called projection. To everything she is, she's accusing him of being. She's already insulted him a couple times, and he just let it go. He didn't come back at her. He just let her say it and moved on. But remember, he's the thin-skinned one.
And you don't like being judged, and you're very sensitive to it. So you, of all people, should know how terrible you made me feel today.
I'm sorry.
This is what, as a person that's kind of been through this kind of shit where he says yet again, I'm sorry. He said, I'm sorry multiple times. It makes me feel for him in that way of where he has no reason to apologize. So either his mind has been so twisted up after all these years that he really believes he did something wrong, or he is doing that just to shut her up because he knows where this is going. Hence, I said earlier to you why he's recording this conversation, even after they had a parent, whatever it was, a 45-minute long quote discussion, which I highly doubt that's what it was because that's why he's recording. That he is just, he's apologizing to someone that's just insulted him repeatedly. And then accusing him of being the one that's hurling insults. He stomped off. Now she stomps off for a couple minutes. Okay. She said, "Oh, I just can't, I need time. You're so mean to me. You're so hateful to me. I can't believe, well, I mean, my God, y'all, this is what I meant by this is the part that's not really been discussed enough. And it is disturbing to me as a person that's lived this shit. So I fast forwarded now. She's walked off for a couple minutes in silence. We're okay. He's like sighed. All right, she's gonna take a couple days. I'm a piece of shit again, whatever. But she's walked off. And I'll tell you something else out of the blue. On a side note, where are those dogs? Where's Pistol and Boo that she demanded to have? Demanded to have custody of those two dogs. Have we seen those dogs? Maybe we have. I'm just asking. There he's texting. You can hear him. That's why I put this on record. You can hear him texting on his phone.
Ex-girlfriend kept appearing in places that Sherry would go. She couldn't go out to the store or go to the gym. Sherry was out of her life.
Well, Mark did.
His ex-girlfriend wasn't doing something, and it was creating enough stress and unhappiness for Sherry that she was considering breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's even longer. So she walked off at 57 minutes, like 7 seconds. She doesn't come back to a minute 2. So she walks off for another 5 minutes, apparently.
No, I don't use it.
Now, after insulting him, telling she needs to take time, how horrible he treats her, she's come back 5 minutes later and asked him about a med, asked him about a prescription pill. Like the amount of up and down and manic shit that is going on in this one audio, from being basically called a piece of shit to then somebody walking back up to you 5 minutes later and saying, "Oh, by the way, do you know where I can get where the toilet paper is? I can't find any in the cabinet." Like, hey, you horrible person who treats me like a piece of dog crap. I need to take some time away from you because you're so hateful and horrible to me. 5 minutes goes by. Hey, do you know where I can find the dishwashing liquid? Like, what?
You ever have any needs?
No, not really. Gabapentin is Neurontin, yo. Or is that the same as...
I'm sorry?
I always get gabapentin mixed up thinking that that's propanolol. But I don't know.
Now, this is where it gets twisted, okay? This is what I meant by the mental gymnastics. We've all heard it. We've all heard her say, first it was in the very beginning, first 15 minutes. Okay, I'll see you later on tonight. Okay. Walks off for 20 minutes. Comes back, watches her hurl insults at him. Says she needs to take a couple days because he's so mean to her. Then you're about to hear right now her say, well, just let me know when it's cool to come home. So he's like, what do you mean? He's like, when I leave? And she's like, well, yeah. He's like, well, you ain't got to go anywhere. I'm going to be leaving in 15, 20 minutes anyway. Like, what the hell? What the hell?
I have one left, so if there's somewhere that you might have it, I would.
You only have one?
Yeah, only one.
Let's call on the prescription.
I'm gonna call Erin now.
Yeah, she should just, or bring.
So just remember, after all this, he's still trying to be kind and help her.
Something to you or whatever, but they can definitely call on a prescription.
Yeah, I'm gonna call her. Can I have this Neurontin?
Yes, absolutely.
Let me know when it's cool to come home. I mean, when it's cool for me to come home.
When I'm going, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll be leaving in like 15, 20 minutes. You don't have to leave on my account because I can I can get out of here earlier.
Earlier? No, it's okay. I'll get some air. I'm gonna hang out with Io and get some air.
Okay, well, I'll be gone in a half hour, no later.
Okay. I'm sorry that it.
Me too.
I'm sorry for you to come home like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry
For what?
that I asked you to come home and it didn't work.
So again, paying attention right there. She says, I'm sorry I asked you to come home. And like, this is what it turned into. So he left apparently. So she's the one that asked him to come over. So that should tell you everything you need to know about. So it's already gotten escalated enough for where he left or whatever. She reached out to him and asked him to come over. And this is how she's acting. She up and down, up and down, up and down. Let me tuck you in, you piece of shit. Hey, do you know where I can find the Advil? But I'm getting out of here until you leave. Like, but let me know when it's cool. Like, I mean, it's just, this is what I meant by, to me, the deepest scars that this man will hang on to, again, in my opinion, from my personal experience, is this shit. You know, when somebody taps you or hits you or punches you, whatever, those bruises heal, and that's visible. That scar is visible. You know that that person did you wrong and hurt you, even if it takes you a while to figure that out. The mental stuff, to me, it's harder because you got to learn how to trust yourself again, because somebody has messed with your mind so much. They've allowed you to second guess yourself, even when you know something's wrong. You have someone in your life that you love, making you feel like you really are a piece of shit, even if you aren't.
I feel really sad that this is happening.
I do too. I do too. I don't. I didn't want it to turn into anything when I was trying to say that, just let me deal with it, and you'll see that if it's a priority to me, I really didn't mean
I didn't get
anything
upset.
bad. I was trying to, it was almost like I was.
I didn't get upset. What upset me is the things you were saying and how you said.
And she reiterates again, I didn't get upset. I think this is about the fourth or fifth time she has said that at least. So what does that say to me in reviewing this? And as long as I have, that means that's exactly what she did, because she keeps saying she didn't. And this is how you mind fuck someone.
No, you gotta.
It was
See right there.
You did get it.
See right there. He says you did get upset. He started to say it a while ago, and she cut him off and talked over him again. And he's saying you did get upset. I'm going to say this for the 40 millionth time. I don't care, but I feel like it's so hard to keep up with this stuff because the mental shit is hard to follow. He is sitting down and recording this after they've already had that 45-minute, God knows whatever, where she got upset. Do you really think that Johnny Depp is going to sit down and record this if he doesn't live through this and know how this goes? Remember, he continued to record after she walked off for 20 minutes. He didn't shut it off because he knows it's probably never over. Even if out in the outside world would hear that conversation take place, them in amicably, him say, okay, she says, okay, see you later, blah, blah, blah. You would think, all right, stop recording. We figured that out. He kept recording because I think he knows it's never over with her.
I asked you that question, which seems like a fair question for someone to be able to ask. And I have to ask myself, do I want to live in a relationship where that question means what it did? It should be okay to ask that question of your spouse without judgment.
I would say no.
Judgment. I got judgment.
I would say
nature for it. And I don't want to live in a relationship where I can't even ask a normal question. That's off limits.
Well, you're not in a normal relationship, so that's the problem.
Maybe. And maybe.
No, what I'm saying is, It's not a normal relationship. You are not a normal person. I'm not a normal person. We do not, it ordinarily it would be a totally sort of like nothing of a question but because of what's underneath it, the subtext of it, you know, it becomes a problem. And just like me saying, you know, to you that look, man.
Calling someone, saying over and over,
What?
judging someone and hurling those judgments and criticisms at them.
What if a doctor tells you that? Are they?
See, he just because he brought up that part about her controlling the controlling. Watch, she now converts that into hurling insults at her. We have turned a fucking anthill into Mount Vesuvius. Okay, so now it's hurling insults and judgments, and then you wonder in a court case how she can accuse him of so much outlandish shit whenever she's the one that we have the evidence of being that very thing that she accuses him of. I don't know. I mean, we have clues.
Hurling those judgments and criticisms at them.
What if a doctor?
Hurling those judgments and criticisms. Those judgments and criticisms. That implies plurality. He said one thing. She's called him all kinds of stuff. But he's the one hurling the insults. She's been the one hurling the insults and the judgments in this conversation, not him. And it's all here for us all to hear. It's nuts to me.
Doctor tells you that. Are they judging you? I'm not judging you.
Context, you're not a doctor.
No, I'm your fucking partner. I'm your husband. I don't say that shit to her. You don't say it to fuck.
Now he's saying, see, now he's making her argument back at her, but then she immediately spins it around and says, well, you're not a doctor. You know what I mean? He's like saying, well, she's like the same way that, well, I'm your wife. I should be able to say, make some of the authority. Well, back at you, bitch. I'm your husband. I should be able to say you act controlling. But nope, not, it doesn't work two ways in her mind. It's a one-way street because he says that now he's hurling judgments and insults. They turned back around on her in this moment, said, well, because you call me, trying to accuse me of procrastinating, hurling insults and judgments at me.
Fucking help you.
But did it look like it was helping? Did it help?
What's how many times you repeat that?
And if anybody, I don't care if you're a school teacher, if you're a kid, if anyone says you're hurting me with what that you're doing, your job is to stop doing that as a person, as a human being. I don't care who you are.
Well, then you really better take that one into your fucking life. That one.
This is my issue.
Because when I asked you to stop,
you're right.
You don't.
This is clearly, you're right. So then you had permission to do what you did. Therefore, you're not accountable.
I don't have permission to do.
This word salad of bullshit that she hurls at him. You're right. You're right. You're therefore you're not accountable, and you don't. I'm like, I mean, it's like good.
Anything like that.
I've done something before. Therefore, you're free to plan. See how you deflect responsibility?
Again, who's deflecting responsibility in this conversation?
No, that's the pot calling the kettle black.
You were told. See, again, you were told repeatedly. You're hurting me with them. That hurts. Please, it's not your place to help me in that way. And even if it were, if I did that to you,
it's not my place to help you in that way. It's not my place as your husband. So then it's not your place. And it's not your place.
He's trying to put her point back at her. And in a normal conversation, somebody would listen to what he's saying and be like, you know what? You're kind of right. I get what you're saying. I did the same thing to you. You know, okay, let's just be more open with our dialogue and not try to take it so personal. No. That's not how this one over here on the left operates.
Did it help? Did it look like it was helping things? Did it help? Were you helping me?
Do you think a lie would work better?
Did it help me?
You prefer a lie?
Did it help me?
Did it help?
Did it look like it was helping?
Did it help?
You don't have to ask me redundant questions. Thank you. I know the answer to that. So do you. So let's not waste either one's air.
I don't feel like being in that and being called names anymore.
Okay,
and
good.
Talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Called names.
Called names and get criticisms. or help from you in that way by throwing judgments
What
at me,
names?
hurling judgments at me.
What names were you called?
If I have to get that,
Now he asked her a pointed question. What names? This is what she does. She just rolls right on by the comments like he never said it because she doesn't have an answer. Now him saying that she can be controlling is hurling insults at her. Oh, it's about to become torture, y'all. It's about to become torture
every time I talk to you,
and abusive.
I don't want to talk to you. You're losing me, Johnny. If it's not done already, you're losing me. Really losing me. You're killing my love for you.
And I think this is important too, because she just said, "You're losing me, Johnny. You're losing me." And he just goes, "Uh-huh." Now remember, who asked who to come over and talk? She asked him. To me, he was at this point, I believe in his mind already, like, I can't keep doing this. This is too much. And so she asked him to come over, and she probably felt that, to come over and talk. And now she's telling him, "You're losing me." This is a twisted game of cat and mouse. Push, push, push him away, and then pull, pull, pull him in. Her fishing line is in the lake, yo. The bass is swimming up to the damn earthworm. And every time he goes to chomp down on that hook, she snatches it out of his mouth. And then he starts to swim away. She drops a damn another one in front of his face. And then, "Come over here, look at me." I mean, this is where you get the stuff that takes a lot longer to recover from, in my opinion.
And I have to, at this point, with how much you hurt me, and I'm telling you you're hurting me, and you feel it necessary for you,
See, look at it.
because you're so right and clear in your judgments, and you're so helpful in your criticism, that you need to repeat it over and over again, knowing it's hurting someone.
I didn't use it as a weapon.
Replay it. Okay, then ask somebody. I hope you have all that on tape.
Now, this is important too, because right here she says, "Well, you go ask someone. You have it on tape. Go ask someone." And when he comes back and says, "Oh, I will," she immediately comes like, "Well, it won't matter. It doesn't matter anyway." Like the minute she thinks someone else may listen and judge this situation, and she wouldn't get the outcome she thinks she should get or deserves, then it doesn't. Then their opinions don't matter, even though she just told him to go get them.
You should really play
I
that.
do, huh?
Please play it for someone and you ask them if that was a right thing to do.
I will.
But no,
See?
it doesn't matter anymore, because
No, it doesn't matter.
if you don't know that, if you don't know right from wrong, if you don't know that that was not okay, or that it just simply is a problem, that's when you feel like necessary to do it.
Like now she's told him to go get somebody else's opinion. He said, "I'll do it." But no, it won't matter, because if you don't know that I'm right. Like, what?
That's why it's probably gone. Or
Well, if it's happening and it continues to happen, then you think it's probably gone. So
I'm just saying, you're losing me. And if
Well,
you
isn't-
continue to behave this way,
you lost me. I came back.
well, I do.
You lost me.
Bam. He says right there, he says, "You lost me." She remember earlier when she says, "I'm sorry I asked you to come over and it turned into this." So she stated right there, she's the one that asked him to come to have this conversation. And remember, this all started with them scheduling an appointment to see a marriage counselor. And yet throughout this conversation, we've heard her say, "You've lost me. I need to take some time. You're hurting me," all this other shit. And him just sit there and take it, and sit there and take it, and sit there and take it.
Why are you here? Why did you come back?
Because I love you.
That's not having.
And you can't just arbitrarily change the rules to suit your mood, by the way.
Then I lost you. If you want to word it that way, okay, fine. Let's call it goodbye.
Are you kidding?
You know, you.
See what she does there? You lost it. If you want to word it that way, implying that that's not the truth, that he's now, that this is how he frames things, when she just admitted earlier that she's the one that asked him to come over and talk, asked him to come back. And now that's why I think for the first time he's like, "Are you kidding me?"
You did. I lost you. If that's what you want to call it, fine. Okay. I don't care who wins. I don't care.
Well, nobody
I don't-
wins.
I don't care
Winning.
who lost.
That's another glimpse into her head. That remember the projection. She says she doesn't care who wins. Well, apparently she does, or she would have never flung that word out there. He didn't say that to win anything. He's saying that because she kept throwing up, "You're losing me." He's like, "Well, you had already lost me. Basically, you asked me to come back, and I did." Well, you want to win, and fine. In your mind, if that's how you look at things, then you can look at it that way. I don't care.
You can be right. You can be the one that like I lost. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right.
Okay.
I would love if you would just give me this for a few days and
We got it.
I'll figure out it will take me a while. Ruck and Josh are looking for a place and I might.
Right there. Okay.
Go in.
I need y'all to hear this. Is hard to hear. I took notes on it. So it said, I've got in all caps, big part. She asks for the pit. This is in this part right here. Okay. Remember, we started back to 15 minutes into this conversation with it amicably. Them, okay, he'll figure it out. He'll make time for this marriage counselor. Okay, cool. Thanks for breakfast earlier. Blah, blah, blah. Right here, she says, now she asks for the penthouse, asks for Rocky and Josh to have time to find a place. He never pushes back. I write that down too, to try and save the marriage. I put he is done. And she'll also, because I've listened to this a couple times, she'll say that maybe her and Rocky and Josh will all get a place together. Okay. This started with him making time to see a marriage counselor, and again an hour in, and now she's talking about, oh, well, I'm going to leave. Give me some time to get out of the penthouse. I'll find a place to live with these two. It is so much of a mental mind fuck that we have somebody telling him that she's trying to save the marriage by seeking out outer help counseling, which sounds like a good thing, to now we're at, hey, can you give me time to find another place to live?
And Josh are looking for a place and I might go in with them on something,
Mm-hmm.
Like that might take a minute, and if it's okay.
He just says, okay. Like to me, in this moment, she is trying to get him to have a reaction. I think she pushes and pushes and pushes and wants to make him mad. I think she's trying to do this for a long time at this point. She's trying all these different tactics to get under his skin by insulting him, calling him names, now saying he's too cruel and she's done. And like, he's just like, okay. Like, he's not arguing back with her because he's done. And he's trying to appease her to save the marriage, as he said earlier, because he loves her. But I don't think he loves her enough to anymore to torture himself. Remember, in this moment, his mother is dying. And he's also going through this shit.
That's great. What's that?
Let's do what? Separate and... I can't hear you. Please. Separate and...
I don't know. Stop jumping, please.
I'm just asking the question.
Right there, I couldn't even hear her. So he's like, what did you say? And she's like, oh, I don't know. Stop. I swear to you, in that moment, it sounds like she says, what does she say? Stop jumping me. She says, I don't stop jumping me. And he's like, what? Well, I just couldn't hear you. I'm trying to ask what I'm agreeing to. She's accusing him of jumping her because he's like, what did you say? Listen.
Separate and...
I don't know. Stop jumping, please.
I'm just asking the question. What was the other word? I want to know what I'm
She's like, stop jumping me. Like, this is messed up.
agreeing to.
Okay, I don't know. Oh, no, I don't know. I just...
It's not important.
I don't know what I said.
Okay.
I think I was...
Okay.
Scrambling for words,
Okay.
I
DNA from that bite mark pointed directly at Stephanie Landis.
Me too.
There's
The
the
test indicated
fine
a
hint.
7 sextillion to 1 chance that it was someone other than Stephanie Landis. That's 17
I'll give you your space. All right.
20 zeros.
We don't have to do anything officially, or we can. I don't really care. Whatever you need.
Now she's saying we don't have to do anything officially or can't. Remember, this whole conversation started out with him prioritizing going to see a marriage counselor. And within an hour, she's done. She's moving out, finding her own place. And they don't have to do anything officially or so basically filing for divorce. So now she's brought up divorce. This started out with marriage counseling. Yeah, that's where we're at, folks.
Whatever you need. And I'm sorry if this comes at this time with your mom. I really truly don't know if it's about that, and if you need something else.
Now, this is where it gets twisted. And this is where it really, really, really pisses me off as someone that has lost their mother. Says she's sorry that this has come at this time. And I don't know. This is basically blaming all the things she's accused him of now all this hurling insults, telling him he's thin-skinned, sensitive to judgment. She calls him, don't forget, she calls him tyrannical, shows me who you are, accuses him of abusing her, and now she's about to throw in his dying mother. I don't know if this has to do with your mom dying and why you're acting the way you are. You will talk some twisted shit. That's twisted shit.
This time with your mom, I really truly don't know if it's about that, and if you need something else from me, if that's what really why it's been so terrible, why you've been so rough with me, critical of me, so critical of me.
There's the words right there, and we're going to hear them a lot too. It's why you've been so rough with me and critical of me. She has used the one statement he made earlier about her being controlling to now frame it into now you're critical of me. But remember, he's the thin-skinned one when it comes to judgment. And now she's going to use his mother as, again, the sword. She, to me, I will say it again, to me, of my opinion, is she is pushing and pushing and pushing those buttons, trying to get under his skin. I'm going to let this play for a while. And just please be listening for your mom. This is where I put your mom taking on me. I said, holy shit, we see a prime example. And I put, after her blaming everyone but herself, using words like torture, your mom, taking it out on me. I'm going to read some of these. Calls him, 114, he calls him a legit crazy person. Now, remember, she is berating him because she said he got mad. She called him controlling, and she is the one who asked him to come over to talk. 115:25. Then she manages to turn, and I'm sorry, and you're right, into an underhanded insult. You can hear Johnny Depp audibly sigh. 116:19. He has audibly gotten quiet, and but he comes back after that. So I'll skip that. He knows how this can go, and she is shutting down. 117. He tries to stop it. Nope, she can't. She has to fight. Insult, degrade. She refuses to talk about what she has done. 118. The wine spill and her screaming in front of his kids. Screaming in front of his kids. Wow, what didn't we hear? And then she says, send me the bill for his counseling. I'm sure it's terrifying. So she'll insult his child and say that, oh yeah, I'm sure he needs counseling now. I'll pay the bill. She says, no, you're right. You're poor kids. Then at 119, she says, your character using your kids. She is the one who asked him to come over. 120, you're not worth it. Walks away saying it. And Johnny Depp just says, okay. She comes right back. 4 minutes later, she comes back again and says she invited him, blew up on him, walked away 2 times, came back to say, just tell me, is this about your mom? After they just spent 45 minutes talking about it being about them. I put holy F word. JD says no. 124.50. Now she tries she tries the "is it me, not you" tactic. This is after saying it was him. Crazy, hateful, mean, tortured. I need to know if his mom dying is affecting him. Well, no shit, Sherlock. Oh, sorry, that was me. Then says, I will do better to be understanding. Then immediately insults him by saying, um, immediately insults him again. I put the mental gymnastics, calls him weird, made her feel not loved, impatient, tyrannical, judgmental. Every time they spoke, she said it makes it about her again. Calls it unfair, hurt. 135.45. This gets twisted. Now going to use his dying mother again as a shield to insult him some more. Quote, if your mother weren't dying, close quote, I would walk away. Oh no, that's all a quote. She says, if your mom weren't dying, I would walk away. Look at how amazing I am for, but basically, and this is me, I say, look at, she's basically implying, look at how amazing I am for standing by such a horrible person. 132.22. Depp says the right there, don't stay. Oh, she says, don't stay with me for that. She immediately does an about face and says, oh no, it's how I'm interpreting the signs now. What the fuck? Starts insulting him again. Now you don't like me. You resent me. Your bitterness. 133.05. She came back in saying she would do better, trying to be there for him, and has turned it into you need to do better. Again, with the it's all his fault. 134.24. Holy shit, he thanks her for her kindness. This man is this man is mentally fucked. 135.18. Depp says she's dizzy. Heard says she's busy. Depp offers her water, the bed, the couch, etc., trying to help her. Audio break. Then you can hear him texting. I put over here, Hollywood doctors should be evaluated. They put these people on everything. But so that's all my notes for the end of it. You're going to hear him bring up her mother. And you're going to bring up his mom. After she walks off, again, you're a piece of shit. And I need away from you, you horrible MFer. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but you get the point. Then comes back and just tell me, is this about your mom? This is the part that's not discussed enough about this trial, this relationship with these two. And I think the scar that will run the deepest in this man's mind.
Someone told me, I don't know if it's about your mom taking it out. I don't know. If it is that, wish you would tell me in some way so I knew to just pace,
And if you're not familiar with how the mental stuff goes, basically it's another way for her to blame him for it being all his fault. He's the cruel one. He's the judgmental one. He's the hateful one. He's the abusive one. And now she's going to use it as his mother, as the tactic to say, is this why you're being such a horrible person, losing your mother? Is that why you're abusing me and you're torturing me and you're mean to me because of your mom? I mean, it's I've seen a lot in my time, been through a lot in my time. I mean, that takes one hell of a person to do some shit like that to someone they say they love. But it doesn't shock me, because this is someone that says she loves him, and then I'm telling you 15 seconds later talks about how horrible of a person he is.
But it really isn't about your mom at all.
I'm sorry that you're miserable, and I'm sorry that I make you miserable. I really am.
Me too.
I really am.
See, me
I
too.
never expected this from you. I feel really shocked that it's become this. Why you feel so terrible talking to you? Why you are so mean to me and critical and judgmental and hateful to me. I have made you hate me clearly, and I don't know why you torture both of us by perpetuating it. If you have such hatred for me, or what, I don't know if I'm your scapegoat, if it's your mom, I really don't know. I want to be here for you, but you're torturing me. And I should be okay to ask you if you're coming to the thing, or if you're committed. It's really not an offense. It's not. And it doesn't deserve this. And I know better than that. I know better than that. I know that what I was sold in you was not that man. It's abusive, it's mean. Sit here and hurl insults or judgments at me repeatedly. I'm telling you, it's hurting me.
Hurl insults or judgments. I'm going to say it again. The only thing you said is she can be controlling at times. And she has turned it in an hour later into hurling insults and judgments at her.
It doesn't matter.
Remember, she said the word torture a while ago and abuse.
You, it's out of context. You're not my therapist, you're not a doctor. You're not even normal.
What?
You're a legit crazy person, self-admitted, and you're gonna call me names or say I have issues? Why?
Because I'd like them to go away so they don't hurt us.
What good is it going to do to call someone?
I didn't call you a name.
How are you to judge me? Who are you to judge me, especially when you hate judgment so much yourself?
It's not a judgment, by the way.
It is a judgment.
No, it is not a judgment. It's an observation of something that I've lived with for 4 years.
Okay.
It's an observation,
You're
man.
right, and you have every right to bring it up at that time the way you did. You were great, and you did everything right.
I would
It's me
like
that has the
for you to not have that control issue so
It's me
heavily
that has the problem.
and used against me. I would really appreciate it.
It's me that has a problem then, because what you did is totally fine for you. I'm the one who has a problem with it.
Yeah.
I just want I'm the one that's hurt. I'm the one that has a problem with it. It is my fault and my problem. You're right, okay? All right? You win. You're right. You're right. I'm the one who feels uncomfortable when I tell someone over and over again that what they're doing.
See, this is again that mental shit, the mental injustice. I'm gonna say mental abuse kind of shit. Where she's like, you're right. You know what? You're the one. You're right. And you're right that, you're a piece of shit and I'm just supposed to sit here and take it because I am the queen that is the one, that's very nice to you and I'm never judge you and I don't hurl insults at you, even though we've listened to an hour of this shit of all she's done is hurl insults at this man over and over and over and over again. She cuts him off when he tries to say anything. And then she projects onto him the very thing she is doing to him.
It's not helpful, not constructive, not appropriate, and not necessarily even fair, nor is it helping. And it is, in fact, hurting me. And I tell you repeatedly, and you feel like you're in a place to do that and judge me and ignore every time I tell you it hurts me?
I'm not
Then
judging.
you think I'm the one? That's a problem? Okay, yeah, you're right. It is my problem. It's my problem. I guess I don't like that sort of judgment like that.
Nobody does, I guess, yeah. If you think that that's judgment.
You're right. You wouldn't have thought it was judgment. I'm sure you would have been immune to it.
Well, you can freely, sort of prescribe your names upon me anytime you want, and all my weaknesses and all my
I didn't. That's what's ironic.
shortcomings and all my this. Okay, good.
That's what's ironic.
Okay.
And then he says that and she says, I didn't. If that ain't Fruit Loops, show me what it is.
Shortcoming. That's you giving that to me. That's what you did. Not the other way around.
See, I didn't do that. That's what you did. That's what you did. That's what we all listen. It's right here.
We didn't just meet today, Amber. Come on.
I guess I'm just talking about today, excuse me.
Okay, let's just
Tries to end it again.
let's cut this short so we don't just continue and hurt each other or whatever, please.
I'm not actually participating in the way you are. I'm sorry.
Did you hear that clearly? He tries to end it again and say, so we don't hurt each other. She says, I'm not participating. Well, we've heard nothing but her participation. And every time he tries to get something out, she shuts him down.
It would feel terrible to you if I sat here and
Now listen to this mind fuck. It would feel terrible if I sit here and judged you. All she's done is judge you.
tried to help you by telling you what I saw was wrong with you.
Please,
I wouldn't.
we've been through that a whole lot. I've listened to a lot of your,
Not today.
not this morning, not this afternoon, no.
Yep.
Okay.
See, and this is what worries me. Well, not anymore. I'm glad he's gotten away from all of this stuff. But what he just said, not this morning, not this afternoon, that's all he's listened to for an hour is that thing. And then he just himself sits there and says that he's not heard it. That's exactly what he's heard. He's not lost his mind. He's heard her do this to him for an hour. And he somehow, I don't know, to maybe stamp out the argument so they don't continue to argue. But that's exactly what she's done.
No. But I've certainly accumulated a lot.
So there you're justified in doing what
See?
you did. For sure.
Well,
I'm only talking about today, because I can only mean what I say when I say I'm going to try and change X, Y, and Z thing, or I'm going to work on blah, 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 and I can only do those things. And since I have been doing those things,
See, since I've been doing all these wonderful things and you're just an asshole, I am the one that should deserves the crown. And you deserve the judgments, because there's nothing wrong with me. And look at all the shit I have listed in the last hour that's wrong with you. But you're the one that's thin-skinned about judgments. You've said one thing about me in this conversation, and that in turn has developed into me calling him a legit crazy person, torturing her, abusing her, belittling her. I mean, yeah.
what things have you been doing?
working on those things and not doing certain things and trying to change certain things.
He's like, what have you been doing? And she's like, oh, working on these things. Does it sound like it to you?
And not doing certain things and trying to change certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, the last several times we've discussed it.
Hence, screaming when I spilt wine accidentally on you for falling asleep, and screaming in front of my kids and freaking Jack out. And that's trying.
I would appreciate. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Johnny.
That fucked him up, you know.
I'm sorry I fucked your son up.
No, it weirded him out. It never.
I'm so sorry I fucked your kids up.
You didn't fuck my kids up, but
I'm
it
so
was pretty
sorry.
fucking. It was pretty fucking weird for him, you know.
Because I jumped up and screamed because I had wine on me. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm surprised he's so. Send me the bill for the counseling. I'm sure that.
Right there. This miss, he's thin-skinned. This miss, I'm perfect. Just told him. He just said that about his son, and she says, you're right, send me the bill for his for his counseling. Send me the bill for his counseling, because he brought up that she flipped out when he spilt wine on her and in front of his son, and she flipped out. She's like, oh yeah, he must be scarred for life. Send me the bill for the are you kidding me? But remember, she's the good one. Remember?
That's terrifying.
Well, that was
I don't need your
condescending bullshit.
No,
He
right,
just
poor
said-
kid.
your clever
There's nothing against
right
me
there.
again.
No, your poor kid. Yeah. But she's
comebacks.
working it.
No. You think you're
weak.
controlling yourself?
Character.
You
is-
think you're controlling
your
yourself?
character has become so clear, especially when you use them. It's embarrassing for you. I'm gonna.
And look, see, and now she can use his dying mother as a sword. But when she brings up how much she's changed, and he says, "Really? I mean, you just did this," and then she's like, "Oh, you use them." Like, it's so twisted.
I'm gonna walk away now because you're actually
We'll walk away for the third time.
making
They follow along.
me see you even worse. And believing me, I'm not gonna be calling you at 3 o'clock in the morning after I've had an Ambien and think I'm gonna just fucking forgive and move on.
Now, look, I'm not going to be messaging you at 3 o'clock in the morning after an ambient and think I'm just going to effing forgive and move on. So now she's turned asking him to come back over after he was fed up. To now here she's using that as a god dang, y'all. She's using that she's basically begged him to come back over, and now saying that she's the one that forgave him and moved on. Think about this.
Trust me, it is gross how you're using your kids. I've done
It's
nothing
gross.
but be there for them in a good way. And if you take that for granted, fine. You're right. Meet a woman who would not jump up and scream if she'd been spilled on 3 times in a row. And I hope you're happy with whoever that is. Because that would be a special kind of fucking person, no doubt.
Wow.
Sorry it had to end this way. Really. It's not worth it for me. I'm sorry, you're not worth it. I don't think I can love you anymore.
Okay.
You missed that. She basically just told him he wasn't worth it. And you basically told him to find somebody else that would put up with this shit, and said that'll be one. I'm sure that'd be one hell of a person, basically. So now she's insulting all those women she's currently trying to use right now as a shield to say that the judgment today was wrong, and it's a setback for all these women. Was now, well, any kind of woman he gonna get, well, that must be a piece of shit, right? That's what she implying there. And all he says is like, okay, bye.
Okay.
See?
Please let me know when you're out.
Now again, with the let me know that you're out. By following along, how many times she's walked off, basically calling him everything under the sun, except for Jack Sparrow, insulting him repeatedly, accusing him of all kinds of things, even though she's the one that's flung all the names out. She's the one that's used his dead mother. She's the one that's their dying mother. You following along? Okay, just so all you know, sounds like he starts packing or something right here, but she walks off again. She done? No. She comes back again.
Just tell me, is it about your mom? Is this something I'm missing that I should know?
No.
Everything she has used to insult him, after everything she has said to him, she's come back again and basically said, can you just let me know if it's your dying mother? And while that's your horrible, abusive, torturous, thin-skinned, judgmental piece of shit.
I don't know what it's about. I don't know.
It's not that. It's not something I'm missing. Like, I should be more understanding as a human, as a wife, that you're going through that. Are you going through something right now?
Are you kidding me? Now she's asking, is it because she's not being understanding enough as his wife that he's going through something? Are you going through something right now? His mom is dying. She's terminally ill. Are you going through something?
Is that it? Or is that not at all? Because I don't know if I'm being shitty and not being and just taking it.
See, but first she implies, am I being shitty and not just and not being and just taking it? So again, implying that she's the one taking she's the one, getting the short end of the stick here. She's still implying it, even though she's the one that's walked off multiple times, insulted him multiple times, used his mom, all this stuff. Now she's trying to imply that, is it that I need to be the bigger person yet again and be the one that puts up with your bullshit? I mean, it's.
Of course, I'm going through a lot with my mom. And of course, I'm feeling a lot of things regarding my mom's health and the family situation and all that. Of course, feeling all this stuff, and I'm going through stuff with it, and I don't voice it a lot. But of course I am. But
Okay.
No, it's okay. Okay.
I'm trying to be more understanding, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Now it's like I'm gonna try to be more understanding. Remember, God, y'all, this makes my head spin. This is why I did this, because now she implied that whole last half hour rant about how she's the one that's put up with all of his bullshit, and how he's the one that's been the asshole. And now she's claiming that she's not been understanding enough. Does she need to be more understanding? And then he thanks her. Still, after everything, he sat there and listened to her and been berated on by her. He thanks her. This is why I'm glad he is away.
Thank you.
Again, thank you.
I'm sorry. I don't.
And apologizes.
It's hard to tell.
Doesn't remember this whole understanding thing she just said she'd be? Oh, don't worry. It takes literally 3 seconds for her to change that tone and start insulting him again.
I'm not using that as my excuse for what we spoke about earlier. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that is all flowing through my veins every day.
Okay.
At every moment. So
Okay.
if it affects the way that I'm dealing with you and it's uncomfortable, I'm sorry.
I just need to know that that's a factor at all, if it is, because I'm trying, and I will try to be more understanding of some shit that it would otherwise be,
Go.
Unacceptable or whatever. I'm going to try. You can, of course, do what you want. But I will feel really guilty if I'm not there for you when you need me and you just...
And this is where she goes too far, because you'll watch her now push, push, push. And then the minute he pushes back, she's like, oh, no, 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 no. This is important. Remember now, she remember she was the one 30 minutes ago saying how she was going to find a place to live, find Rocky and would find another place to live, and how she just needed a few days to find a place to live. To now we're back to, okay, are you going through something? Am I not being understanding enough? To then hurling back insults at him. Now she's going to again put that crown on her head and say, I don't know how I don't, I don't know how, what is it? How she's in, hang on, she says it.
But I will feel really guilty if I'm not there for you when you need me and you just don't know how to...
I will feel really guilty if I'm not there for you. Are you kidding me?
Say that is a part of this. I didn't know. I don't know.
She didn't know if his dying mother might affect him.
If I were you, I'd probably be freaking out too, but if I did weird things that made you feel less than loved all the time.
We go with the insults. We look how long it took her. If I did weird things that made you feel less than loved all the time, here we go.
Every time we spoke, I was impatient and tyrannical and judgmental. I would.
Now, remember, now he's tyrannical and judgmental. That whole understanding thing took about, again, she was understanding for about, again, half a second.
Every single time you would go crazy at some point too.
Now crazy. We're crazy.
But maybe I have gone crazy a little bit.
No, I'm saying that's why maybe. Look, I'm trying.
I know, okay.
Do the right thing, and I don't.
Thank you.
No.
Now she's like, I'm trying to do, if anything implied in the last hour and a half that she's trying to do the right thing to anyone else, let me know down below. And he thanks her again. Let me tell you again, for the mental health of this man, thank God. And I'm grateful he has 2 kids that love him and exes that have stood beside him and people that have been in his life, like Isaac for 40 years. They got security people been with him for a couple decades. I'm glad that he has people around him that hopefully he can trust. Because if you're telling me this man had come out of this entire situation with trust issues, I'll sell you a unicorn that farts Skittles. You know what I'm saying? This man is wrecked. to thank her? Oh, he about to thank her for being so kind here in a minute. I want your head blown.
How? Exactly, because I feel, I feel this is so unfair and I'm hurt by it. But also, I know that if my mom were laid up in the hospital, I'd be a different person too. And I'm sorry that I didn't. I'm sorry I forget or allow myself to not remember.
Think about that statement. I'm sorry I forget or allow myself to not remember. How the hell do you allow yourself to not remember? You either remember or you don't.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank her again.
I'm sorry for saying things that hurt you. I'm sorry for just having such a negative adding a negative space around you, you know. I'm sorry. That's what I do to you.
Thank you for saying, thank you for acting like you care about me.
I do care about you. I care about you very much, and you know that. And
You know what would have been? There would have been a great opportunity for her to apologize for all the insults she just hurled at him and all the things she accused him of, and saying that his son would need psychological help and she would pay for it. And using his mother as the sword to, stab him through the heart and accuse that of being the reason why he was such a torturous, gross embarrassment that has abused her. That's tyrannical, thin-skinned. Yeah, just read my list of insults.
Well, I'm here for you, and if you, I'm not gonna kick you out of your own home, okay? Let's just know that it's here. Please tell me, what, of course, out of respect, I'll tell you. If I'm not gonna come home, you tell me.
Yeah, just tell me when you're coming home so I can make sure, James Franco in here or Elon's not calling.
Yeah.
And I'm not kicking you out or asking you not to come here, okay?
Okay.
I am your wife, still. And I'm here for you if you need me. While your mom is going through these things and you're going through these things, I will try very hard to keep that in mind when I'm reacting to what I would otherwise feel is an active attempt to make me stop loving you. And if I didn't know better, I would think that that's what you were intending to do recently. And
I'm sorry, but y'all listen to an hour and a half of this. Who sounds like they're actively trying to push them away and then pull them back in and then push them away and then accusing them of being a horrible person and then saying that, oh my God, I know you're going through a lot of shit. I'll be there to stand behind you. But then again, you're like, you've heard it all. This is some twisted shit.
Preservation or something. I gotta keep myself alive by protecting myself a little.
Gotta keep myself alive.
And if that means
I gotta keep myself alive. Now we've hit the pinnacle.
assuming I'm only having one foot in, having one foot out of this marriage and one foot in, and it hurts both of us. But your mom is dying, so I don't know. I don't know if you're intending to ruin the marriage or not, you know? Maybe you want out because.
Let me remind you again. So now she's accusing him of being the one trying to ruin the marriage. But we know by earlier in the tape, he said that told her that you had already lost me, that he came back, told her it was because he loved her. Then she apologized to him for asking him to come back over. And this is how it ended. But trust me, it wasn't really an apology. It was like a veiled, she's the loving, caring, but perfect person. And he's this, tyrannical piece of shit. So don't get that twisted. But like, so we've heard now it's the, well, I would feel horrible if I didn't stay beside you through all this. Again, Queen Elizabeth over here, I don't want to use Queen Elizabeth, but anyway, you get the point.
You don't like me anymore, which is what it sounds like. And if your mom weren't dying, I would walk away knowing that I.
See, right there. If your mom weren't dying, I would walk away. And that's where she went too far. But look at how he handles it. You can tell it did. You can tell he heard that.
It was just not, you didn't like me enough anymore. But I can't leave you. I wouldn't want to be left, no matter what my behavior. If my mom was in the hospital, my dad.
Don't stay with me, Phila, please.
I love you, that's why I'm with you. I'm saying
and watch how her scattered brain goes to recovery mode. But she's just made it, again, portraying herself as the great, humbled, loving, amazing person that is going to stand with him just because his mom is sick. Because if she wasn't sick, then she would have nothing to depend on except for, yes, he is this horrible person she's accused him of being for an hour. And then he's like, don't stay with me for that. And still please at the end. And then she's like, no, it's because I love you. It's just because, it's.
Don't stay with me, Phila, please.
I love you, that's why I'm with you. I'm saying by not interpreting the signs that tell me glaringly that you don't want to be with me anymore. Out of dislike, resentment, bitterness that you've accrued over the years.
Think about all this now. The insults are flying back out. This is where I brought up the resentment. You dislike her. Now he's bitter. Remember, this is after she's going to be an understanding wife that his mom's getting ready to pass away. Now she's brought back with the insult.
No. Everything tells me that those are the things that you feel for me, and I have every conversation we've had recently perhaps to justify feeling like you are trying to make me walk or run. And if you're not, then please do a better job a little.
Oh my God, the feigning. Please do better. And then she just tells him right there, after all this shit about being understanding, then she tells him, asks him, you please do better. And I think right then it's twisted.
And if you're not, then please do a better job a little bit. Please do a better job of sticking up for this marriage, or fighting, or doing the right thing, or trying.
Right there, implying doing the right thing, which implies he has not done the right thing. She's done everything great.
Because that's pushing me away real fast, real hard.
He's the one that left. He's the one that asked him to come back. That struck a nerve with her. That's why she's pushing this on, trying to mind meld him into believing that she's twisted setup. This is disturbing. it, where he thanked her for being
Thank you.
right there. Thank you.
Thank you for saying all that. Thank you for your kindness.
Kindness. Thanked her for her fucking kindness after everything she has said to him for the last hour. It's ending with him thanking her and thanking her for her kindness. If that doesn't scream to his sister, to his closest friends, to include like his security team that's around him all the time, that the best thing that could ever have happened to this man is that she dropped a turd on his bed and she overreacted to it herself, because I think he would even stayed with her after that, from the shock and awe of how she acted after going to get that TRO and filing, and she busted out doing that because I feel like she felt that that was the stick that broke the camel's back. I think he would have stayed with her. I mean, he said it. There's a later audio. I can go over that as well if people want to, where he said that, he still loved her and all this other stuff, and he was shocked by what she had done. But you can see why, again, that was the best thing to me, is that what she filing and doing all that stuff and showing her truth. Finally, he saw the truth for what it was. He was living in this toxic, I'm telling you, blender brain of a manipulative, gaslighting, projection field person that she had no limits to what she would say to him to hurt him, and then come back and say how wonderful she was being to him.
I'm sorry I didn't fuck you up. I'm sorry.
Listen, I'm sorry that I F you up.
We fuck each other up. Do you want something to drink? Water?
What?
You want water?
Yeah, I'm just a little.
Let me check it.
Yeah, I will go. Just a little dizzy.
Sit down here.
And now, after everything she has said to him about being this horrible person, now she feigns damsel in distress and says how now she feels dizzy. And what does he do? He jumps to help her. Here, sit down here on the couch. Here, lay down on the bed. Here, let me get you this. Here he goes and gets her a drink. It is sad. It is sad. All the things that he was put through mentally by this person to make him feel like he was so horrible, and then come back and act like he was the horrible, he was the problem here. It again, that's why I did this video. It was so shocking to me. Oh, let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree. And I might do another one of these because, again, I think this is the scar that'll stay with this man. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.